Shedeur Sanders is the most disrespected NFL rookie I've ever seen in my life. And if you don't believe me, stay tuned and watch this video. I'm going to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Make sure y'all share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's the NFL Litcast. La, la, la. Wait till I get my D right. La, 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 la. Then they gon' crown me broken man.
Not smart. Just not smart. And it's something that we've addressed with him. He understands the implications. He understands the consequences. And I think the thing is, like, it's not just about yourself, right? It's not just about, having a joyride. It's not just about, driving a car really fast, but it's about the fact that you can endanger other people. It's about the fact that if a deer or someone, cuts out in front of you, like, your reaction time, it's just dangerous. And it's not something that we want our guys to be doing. It's not something that they should be doing. And the number one reason is because we don't want some type of catastrophic accident. Like, right, we saw that, 2 years ago in, what was it, Dallas or Houston with a player. And in that incident, everybody was lucky to walk away. And we don't want that occurring with.
That was one GM, Andrew Berry, for the Cleveland Browns. Now, you would have thought, if you didn't know Shedeur's backstory, you would have thought that the GM was speaking about Deshaun Watson. The level of vitriol, the level of seriousness, the level of treating Shedeur like he's some chronic problem child since he's been in Cleveland, since he played at Colorado and D. Jackson State University. Like, just the way that he's talking is like, it almost feels like they were waiting on this. The Cleveland Browns were waiting on their chance to publicly reprimand Shedeur. Now, before we go any further, I don't want any excuses, because in order to be a quarterback, you have to be a leader. And in order to be a leader, you have to take accountability. So Shedeur deserves a level of accountability for the incident that happened a month and a half ago with him speeding. I think we can all agree on that. But taking it to the level where you're addressing it publicly and you're reiterating over and over again, and it's like he's emphasizing, Andrew Berry is emphasizing what could have happened instead of what did happen. Now, some of this is just the politics of where you're drafted, right? Some of this is the politics of who you are. Because if this was a first round draft pick, that wouldn't have been the response. It wouldn't have been a public reprimanding in that way. It would have been, he's young, he's gonna learn from it, he's gonna get better, he's gonna do better. None of that language is used in what was just watched. What we just watched, none of that language was used. The language that was used on that particular interview we just watched, or press conference we just watched, is the press conference you have for a guy that's an undrafted free agent, or somebody that's later, that was drafted in later rounds, or someone that you feel like is a potential problem child. That's the kind of response you give. Like, you gotta show hard love. They're treating Shedeur like he's a multiple convicted felon. Like he just has all these run-ins with the law, and he's always just been a problematic figure. It's like the Browns are waiting for Shedeur to prove them right. And this is why I say Shedeur Sanders is the most disrespected, by far, the most disrespected rookie QB I have ever seen in my life. I don't want to sound like a broken record because I've already spoke about this on my other channel, The Lit House, and I spoke about it on my first video here in the NFL Litcast. And shout out to everybody that actually came over from the Lit House and subscribed. And shout out to all the new members of the family that are subscribing to this channel and hitting the likes and show love to the last video, right? I appreciate all of the support. But I don't want to sound like a broken record when I say, when you look at where Shedeur came from, being a 3-star QB, signed at Florida Atlantic, at the last minute decides to go to Jackson State, the Jackson State University, right? Goes from there and follows his father to Colorado. He's a winner at Jackson State. Inherits a program that was terrible that first year with a terrible offensive line in Colorado. Him and his father, his brother, and himself and Travis Hunter, they're there to change this, at the time, Pac-12, traditional, not powerhouse, but respectable team in Colorado. Colorado had won a national championship in their history before, right? He resurrects that franchise that was on the brink of extinction. The next year, they're eligible for the Alamo Bowl. I think they won 9 games. Going from being a 3-star quarterback to, at times during the season, before it ended magically, and he became a undraftable player, not good player, not a first rounder. But during the season, he was projected as the number 1 quarterback off the board. Imagine being in this whirlwind where you go from that to now you've been drafted by the worst organization in the whole entire league, in the Cleveland Browns. Bar none, the worst organization. No reputation recently of success. An absolute cap nightmare between Deshaun Watson and Myles Garrett. 5 quarterbacks on the depth chart. Only one of them, to me, with the potential to be a franchise quarterback. They draft a gimmick player in Dylan Gabriel. I got to tell the truth now. I've been trying to be fair. I've been trying to be neutral, but the disrespect has gotten too loud, and somebody has to call it out and quiet it down. A gimmick player in Dylan Gabriel that nobody was going to take in the 3rd round other than the Cleveland Browns. Kenny Pickett, a Philadelphia Eagles reject that just got traded from the team that won the Super Bowl, and they didn't feel like they needed him at the number 2 spot. They'd rather go with Tanner McKee. Joe Flacco, who is so goddamn old, he has Jesus' autograph. The man doesn't wear cleats. He wears Jesus Airs. Air Jesus. Air Moses. Dust on his sandals every time he walk off the field. The man is so old. Whenever you look at the training camp numbers as far as reps, he's not a 5th round draft pick like Shedeur. He's not a guy that's fighting for his life. He's the guy that's the projected starter because he won a Super Bowl. He's been in the league for a while. 2 years ago, he had some success with the Indianapolis Colts, right? So he's not a guy that's fighting for his spot, but he's getting the less reps because he's so damn old. Oh, and not to mention Deshaun Watson, Mr. Allegedly can't keep my hands to myself, at $250 million guaranteed. This is the organization that is openly disrespecting Shedeur Sanders. Make it make sense. This is the organization that is openly disrespecting Shedeur Sanders. And why do I say the disrespect? As I'm talking right now, this is a clip of Kevin Stefanski. I'm not going to play the audio. If you want that audio, I'll put it up in a short or something like that. But I'm going to cook. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, since he's been head coach, hasn't won nada. Ain't won nothing. Has no credentials in his league as far as a head coach to be sitting up here and being critical of Shedeur. Now, do you want to hold your guy accountable? Absolutely. But if you're going to hold them accountable, you also have to give them a fair shot. And this is another reason why I'm saying Shedeur Sanders is being disrespected. We started to hear more and more, and I warned y'all about it on my other channel, The Lit House. I warned y'all of this. I kept hearing on ESPN and NFL Network over and over again, if Shedeur gets a fair shot, if Shedeur gets a fair shot, he could be the week 1 starter. If all things are fair, I heard it from Riddick, I heard it from Orlovsky, I heard it from all kind of people across multiple networks. If he gets a fair shot. And it made me start saying to myself, if NFL insiders are saying this, or guys that's been around the league are saying this, they must be hearing whispers that he may not be getting a fair shot. They must have been hearing whispers that he might not get the opportunity that a lot of Shedeur and Deion fans and fans of the family thought he was going to get. And I started to try to prepare people on the Lit House for the potentially devastating news that is now becoming a reality that Shedeur may not even get a fair shot. Why do I say this? I want y'all to look at the numbers that are on the screen right now. I want y'all to take time and look at the numbers that are on the screen right now. In 2 days, the man got what? 8 reps and 4 reps. That's 12 reps. He is yet to get 11 on 11 reps. They have a clip floating out here, and I'm going to play it right now so y'all can check it out. They have a clip playing from training camp where all the quarterbacks are going through drills. They're going through their throwing drills. They're going through their steps. Not their progression, but making sure their steps and their mechanics are good. Every other player is throwing it to a Cleveland Browns player. Bro, they show us a clip of Shedeur throwing the football for his rep, and I swear to God, it looked like he's throwing it to somebody that works at Home Depot. You can't tell me the difference between this guy right here on the screen and someone that works at Home Depot. He got the orange shirt on. He got the shorts on with a leg sleeve. No, this guy just snuck in the Cleveland Browns training camp. This is disrespectful. And more as I look at this, and I'm trying to stay away from this word, but more and more as I look at this, it is starting to feel as though there has been some level of alleged collusion on the NFL's part when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. Because there's no way that he performs the way that he performed in rookie minicamp. He performed the way he performed in OTAs. And we started to hear whispers then that he wouldn't get a fair shot. Now you got him throwing the Home Depot workers. This is absolute madness of the highest order. It's unfair. It's ridiculous. But it's obvious. The only quarterback out of the 4 quarterbacks that has not gotten 11 on 11 rep, when he does get reps in 7-on-7, when he does get reps, he's playing with guys that next year will probably be on YouTube with me. He is not getting a fair opportunity. The man has been disrespected since the end of the season, to the pre-draft process, to the draft, to after the draft. Every level that a player can be disrespected, Shedeur Sanders has been disrespected. And what has he done ever since we've known him? Play good football. Listen to his coaches. Played with the worst offensive line in college football 2 years ago. Kept his head up. Kept making plays. Did what you ask of a quarterback that is facing pressure, hoping that he doesn't get PTSD and become gun shy. You ask him to stand up to the pressure, step up in the pocket, and deliver strikes. Play winning football. Stare down the barrel of the gun. Stuff we used to hear about Joe Montana. Stuff we used to hear about Steve Young. Stuff we used to hear about Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. The stuff that they told us was what made an NFL quarterback the leader and the face of the team. But when it came to Shedeur, all of a sudden it was looked at as a negative. Looked at as a negative. The man has been disrespected every step of the way. From OTAs, limited reps, from rookie minicamp, working with the worst rookies on the depth chart. Limited reps in OTAs, no reps with the starters. Every other quarterback gets reps with the starters, not Shedeur. And now the same trend has started with training camp. Now I know I can already picture the comment section and I can already picture the detractors saying, well, this is what happens when you're a 5th round pick. They don't have time to give reps to a 5th round pick. They don't have time to justify giving Shedeur reps. If the Cleveland Browns got anything, they got time. Because like I said, we've never known them to win anything, anytime since I've been on this earth. So they got a whole lot of time. And what they're going to do this season is, which I project, is what they always do, which is lose. They got a whole lot of time. But maybe it's time that they do something different. Maybe it's time to upset the apple cart. Maybe it's time to actually try to win games, to actually try to build around a young quarterback. Maybe it's time to go with the best young player with the most projected potential. But are they going to do that? I doubt it. I doubt it fully. Because what I've learned from covering the NBA and covering sports for all of these years is that GMs and front offices and organizations, a lot of times they're run by a bunch of arrogant people. And those arrogant people never want to admit they're wrong. So instead of using their eyes and their intellect to see how far ahead Shedeur was than everyone else during rookie minicamp and OTAs, they treated that as an outlier. And to keep themselves from looking inept when it comes to drafting and scouting, being as though they took Dylan Gabriel ahead of Shedeur, to keep themselves from looking bad or having to come out and say we're wrong and we invested money into a guy that we didn't have to, they look at OTAs and rookie minicamp as an outlier. And they want to prove themselves right in training camp by Shedeur not getting the starting job. And if they have to manufacture an unfair competition where he doesn't get as many reps, where he doesn't get as many opportunities to sign or shine, just so they can say that they're right, they're willing to do it. Shedeur Sanders is the most disrespected rookie quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Make sure y'all share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Much more content on the way. Welcome to the NFL.